Hey, haven't you been wanting to start a podcast?
Yeah, but doesn't it take a lot to make one?
Well, let me tell you about Anchor. It's free, and it's the easiest way to make a podcast. On top of that, there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Oh, that sounds amazing. But doesn't it take a lot of work to put my podcast on different platforms?
Actually, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more.
That sounds fantastic.
On top of that, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. So it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
So where do I get started?
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome back to another episode of the Convoluted podcast. It's your host, Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, and I'm here with Liz.
Hey!
And if it's your first time listening, we hope you follow or subscribe. It's free, and you can always unfollow or unsubscribe. So let's jump into the episode. So how have you been, Liz?
I've been waking way too much. And dealing with too much shit at home.
Yes, and it sounds from since we last recorded, things have not improved. That sucks.
Nope, it has not.
No shining, no light at the end of the rainbow here. Well, no, that's not the term.
Out of the tunnel, out of the black fucking tunnel that just keeps getting darker.
You just keep falling down the tunnel. Like you try to reach up there, out of the well, basically, and nope, you keep falling. Or you keep falling farther and further behind.
I don't think it's me falling. I think it's somebody else falling, and we're just getting dragged down.
Oh, they're holding you back.
Yes.
Emotional damage.
You got that right. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, actually. If you guys can hear, my cough is nearly gone. So
Did you go to the doctors like you?
No, I didn't. I just started taking a few things specific to help, like be a little bit more active with some of the stuff I was supposed to do, hot teas and stuff to help my throat, like alleviate stuff, and it's been helping massively. My cough is nearly gone. Probably if it doesn't, I've decided I said when I first started it, if it didn't go away within 7 days when I started it, I would go see the doctor and everything. On top of that, I still gotta wait for. I haven't been able to find my medical card, so I'm still waiting for that to get mailed over. So that's kind of why the 7 days thing. But it's nearly gone, and I'll have a replacement medical card.
Yay!
So, good thing I requested a replacement because I couldn't find it. I spent like an entire day looking for it, and I'm like, oh shit, that is bad. So
yeah, that is bad.
So good thing I decided to take an active thing to get a replacement.
Didn't you get one offline like I can?
The person on the phone I talked with didn't say anything specifically about that. But maybe because I didn't ask, I just asked, hey, can I get a replacement? I couldn't find mine. I lost mine. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's just gotta take about, your traditional, it's gonna take about 7 to 14 business days. Like, oh, okay. So just, just mail it to me. I'll be happy. And then that's kind of the reason I'm like, all right, I'll just wait for the card. I'll try this stuff. If it doesn't work, once I get my card, go see the doctor. Done.
Yeah.
But yeah, my cough is nearly gone. I probably just cough once a day, or if I'm like, that's it. Yeah, I'm doing overall good. Busy. At the time of this recording, this weekend of the recording, there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out. On top of this episode, the episode on Reaction Cast, there should be 2 episodes. One of the review of Uncharted, and then the review of Peacemaker with special guests. Josh from Gingerflex should be out. And if you guys don't, probably the week after this episode gets out, the review for Marry Me with Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez will be out the week after this episode airs.
I've heard mixed reviews on that one, so interesting.
I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm seeing that later with my sister. She says she just watched it, and we're gonna rewatch it. It's supposed to be like a nod to old 90s 2000 rom-coms, so I'm looking forward to it because those were everywhere during that time.
Of course.
But that's kind of so those are kind of the updates on some of the other shows and some special guests on those shows. We're working on trying to get guests for this show. And then bonus stuff, fun bonus stuff. We finally got it all set up. Liz, I'll let you introduce this part.
Well, you guys, you have waited so patiently and been so kind to us. We have officially have a phone number. Call us. You want to hear the number? Ready? Get your pen and paper ready. 971-373-7515. And give us a message. We'll play it on air next time. And if you want to just vent to us, go for it. We'll listen to it all, and we'll give our response, and we'll fill you, and hopefully we can help you out, guys.
Bruh.
Exactly. There you go. We have a new voicemail number. So if you guys want to just leave us a message, Liz will read the number again in a moment. But yeah, just give us a call, leave us a voicemail, and we'll, like she said, we'll give it a listen. And so can you read that number once again, Liz?
971-373-7515.
I like that number. It has a nice jingle to it. Maybe we should make it into a jingle. You know?
We should. I was thinking about that. I'm like, as if I'm playing it off in my voice.
But yeah, well, we'll work on that. But yeah, so go leave us a voicemail. We'll say it again at the end of the episode. But yeah, we have that now. And from there, anything else before I get into some of these stories?
Merch. Our merch line. We have our new St. Patty's line coming out, right, this week? I believe we do.
By the time this episode airs, the Valentine's merch should be out, and the St. Patrick's merch should be kicking in. Yeah, wait, what's today's date? The time of the recording, yeah. The time of the recording, at the time of the release of this episode, the Valentine's is gone. So if you missed your chance for the Valentine's, it's gone. But you have now your chance for, I believe it's going to be out for not 90 days, 60 days, the St. Patrick's merch. So you get 60 days from the 20th, because that's when it comes out. So it should be out by the time this airs. So get your St. Patrick's merch, and then you get it like 2 weeks after the St. Patrick's Day is over. That's kind of how we've been doing holiday stuff. You get it 4 weeks before and 2 weeks after. So you have 6 weeks to buy any holiday products we put out. But yeah.
Merch.tyrantdominus.com.
Yeah, merch.tyrantdominus.com. So get your stuff. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff. Voicemail, new merch.
We gotta start working on our next line too. We gotta get back on.
So yeah. But yeah, let's get into some of these topics. So we have a video, but we'll play that a little later because I want to talk some of these crazy stories. So the big one, let's talk about the big one because on the top.
There's so many big ones out there.
True, but let's talk about the one that kind of will affect a lot of people and kind of what we were talking about a little earlier. We'll talk about the story first that happened. Let's see here. Where are you? There it is. Let's open this up. Get this. Yeah, The Guardian. Is The Guardian one of the ones we like? News articles we like that doesn't make us pay
Can't
for
remember.
articles? Yes, it does. It lets us read it. All right. Thank you, The Guardian. You know, we like you. We like your articles. Okay, so Awada's police use pepper spray and stun grenades to clear trucker protest. So there's something that's been recently happening a lot more. The trucker protests. We didn't talk about it in the last couple episodes. The one that was happening in Canada, some things that happened in Texas, because there wasn't like too much craziness happening in them. They're just stories. But now it's getting wild. It's getting to the level of like those big protests that were happening or mid 2020 that all those crazy protests were happening, like the ones
Yes, lots of
like
protests were happening in 2020.
protests
There's so
slash
many.
riots. I think that's the best way to explain it. So we're getting to the
Hey,
point
can you
now that
repost that so I can see it? I'm not finding it.
it's under news.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Found it. Sorry.
I grabbed it out of there just because sometimes they have better if sometimes those articles that are blocked, some people kind of copy pasta so we can actually read some of the stuff. So anyway, Canadian police on Saturday used pepper spray and stun grenades to restore normality to the capital of Awada after trucks and demonstrators occupied the downtown core for more than 3 weeks. In a protest against the pandemic restrictions, after clearing a portion of the blockade and making more than 100 arrests on Friday, police on Saturday morning moved quickly to disperse the main portion of the blockade in front of the Parliament and Prime Minister's office, making new arrests. We quote, "We told you to leave. We gave you time to leave. We were slow and methodical, yet you were assertive and aggressive with officers and horses," end quote. Police said in a statement to the trucker and posted on Twitter. That's actually pretty pretty lenient for cops. Like, yeah, we're patient. We're gonna give you time instead of being a super.
It's not
what you say.
America. Do you get that? Keyword.
Yeah.
It's not America.
So, but yeah, so this is kind of the basic story, but this is kind of what's been happening more and more and more. This it's been not rumored. It's more than likely about to happen. Is the big trucking strike? Have you heard anything about this?
No, but I could see it coming. I mean, I could totally see it coming. I mean, how many of them are so exhaustive trying to bring us product in the last 2 years?
Yeah. I was gonna ask my cousin Danny, since he's a truck driver. I wanted to get his input, but that bum doesn't ever want to have time to talk.
Only when he games with you for like what, every couple weeks?
Yeah, I'm calling you out, Danny. You bum. Good. We need trucker information. Your secrets. But yeah, it's more than likely that the trucking strike will happen, and that's gonna disturb the entirety of the industry, because basically, it's not wrong to say that the trucking industry is one of the backbones of the not just the United States but the country. Like,
oh yeah, I don't think it just. I mean, the world. You think about it, it's how you move product. How do you move produce? How do you move, everything just to make their demands of anything. I mean, whether it be loggers or agricultural.
So
I mean, it's everything.
Worst case scenario, we might end up like early pandemics, with product and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like barely getting anything. Like, remember when I was saying you should stockpile on stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that, but grab a couple extra stuff of your favorite stuff, because you probably won't be getting that stuff for a while.
I don't have a lot of favorite things.
More so because one,
maybe for Ursula, but not for me.
Like, more so like some of the, maybe, I don't know, getting fresh stuff is gonna be really rough. More so of the like cans and box stuff. Stock up on certain stuff that you want, because right now we not only are we in a shortage of certain products and varieties of those products, but with once the strike happens and how long the strike happens, we might not be getting products for a while. We might be seeing those empty shelves again.
So then you're saying we should be outsourcing to like other 'Cause I have my sister who uses a company who brings in her fresh produce because they're, you know what I'm talking about, those food
Oh, like
food boxes,
what am I called?
like
Like
imperfect fruit,
fresh. What is it? Like there's
perfect
so many
fruit.
sponsors. Perfect fruit, and then there's
Yeah,
not
but I don't want to get docked down for them
No,
using
it's
their work.
fine. It's so fine. Yeah, unless they want to sponsor us, they want to sponsor us,
Hey,
and
hey, hey, are
we'll
we
say,
cool?
hey. But
I
yeah,
like
there's
some
companies like there's. I'm trying to remember some
perfect
of these
food,
companies,
and there's another couple out there. I mean,
but all these
I
services
think we're going
that
to see a spike in those. I think that probably, if anybody's investing, probably be investing into that because they'll
I
probably
don't
see an
know.
increase.
I don't think so actually, because those are companies also going to get hit because they're not going to have the product to fill those orders. They're going to be probably
Maybe.
sending. They're probably going to be sending emails like, "I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Your whatever your monthly thingy, like your monthly package, is going to be delayed, or we're going to have to give you a refund." I think that's it's gonna get everything's gonna hit. Nothing's set. That's the thing. Like
Yeah.
all these services. So I'm maybe early of this stuff. Yeah. But there are backups because there are like there's like non-union truck drivers, but they work on their own terms, so it's not like we're gonna get halted. No, we're not gonna get halted, but um, it's gonna be a staggered. So the best way I can put it for anyone listening is like there was like a minimum, a small little like break of truck drivers a couple years ago, and they used non-union truck drivers for a while, but it's not like they were like everyday trucks coming in. It's like maybe one delivery one day, wait the next day, no load the next day, then the next day they use the same truck driver, and then so and so on. Sometimes they didn't get a load for 2 days in a row. So it was staggered deliveries.
I do seem to
Uh,
recall that. It was
no,
right after I left, and it was like you guys were getting an order like every other day, and you would just work backstock those nights, right? Is that
so
right? Am
yeah,
I thinking right?
yeah, yeah. So that's how it kind of works because one, these truck drivers have to work for multiple companies. So it's not like, oh yeah, you're going to be dedicated for this. No, they have multiple jobs because they have to fill in for all the union truck drivers.
The money they
So
make too.
good money, yeah. But it's one of those things that we're gonna be low on product on the shelves, and probably the next couple months. So like I said, just stock up on certain stuff that you like because you probably won't be getting it for a while. Um, and yeah, that's kind of
Well,
it's
that might be a good use too because we have stuff on our shelves we have to use up anyway. So
and
might
then
be good for the
probably
rest too.
you know what sucks is here's the thing that we're saying that's consumer level, right? We're just talking
Hmm.
consumer level. Trucking for company levels, like grabbing certain like ingredients, certain materials for a company. These is just gonna raise the prices of clothing, making the food, even trucking for gasoline. Gas prices is gonna go up. Everything's about to kick up. Like
No.
how are you feeling with knowing that things are going to probably, if this is something I've been hearing online, if,
Can you hear online? Can you though?
yes, you can.
See me
Actually, there are,
online.
you can hear online. You can hear online. We put our voices online.
I know. I'm teasing.
Okay. So here's my ready.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
So if the trucking industry is going to be shut down for roughly, I thought that was going to be longer. Anyways, if the trucking industry is shut down for roughly 60 days, that's what this was estimated. That we're if it's not shut down, but stalled for 60 days, we can see a rise in costs in products and services by up to 18 to 20%.
Wow.
How do you feel about that?
Just keeps reinforcing the fact that I can't fucking live on my own.
Yeah, it makes it harder. It just doesn't and it doesn't help. It doesn't help anything. Uh,
It isn't.
it's just it's all these excess forces that's making it hard and harder for people to be self-dependent. I think that's the best way to put it, right?
Hmm.
So, it's just like, yeah,
Makes me want to think about the big box stores like Costco or Sam's Club. Those, how they're gonna survive and how those employees are gonna be affected too. Because I think about everything. Oh, the drug business will definitely feel this and
yeah.
hurt terribly.
Have-
I mean, we're already feeling it bad enough with all the shortages right now. We're gonna see. Oh my gosh, I don't even know anymore. At this
Not a
point,
single fuck was given this day.
That's
No.
what it feels like. That's what it feels like. But yeah, that's what's happening right now, and you really have to, everyone listening, you have to really think about what situationally you have to be going to be dealing with. It's one of those crazy stories that I was not expecting, because the trucking industry, like I said, it's a really big part of the country. I don't know. I don't exactly know. I could probably look it up. I don't really care what to look up, because it's probably more concrete of what they're fighting for. But the way it's gonna affect us, it's not fun, and
it
we're
doesn't
gonna
look
be
pretty,
going.
huh?
So yeah, great. All right, everyone, start fighting for the food. Go to your supermarket. Start fighting for your favorite Pop-Tarts and lasagna.
Oh God, that's two things my daughter survives on.
10-year-old surviving off Pop-Tarts and lasagna. I don't. That doesn't surprise me.
And yeah, I don't even know how she's still so thin. I'm like, dude, eat some try new foods, man. You're missing out.
out of your mind?
Hey,
Exactly.
child metabolism. I wish I had that.
Me too. Me too.
Okay, so let's jump into some other stories. Let's talk about some actual crazy one that. This is about this. Recently, my siblings went to Vegas, and they didn't give too many details of what happened, because, as always, the rule: what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Really though,
Um,
does it really?
Not really. They told me a few fun stories, but besides that, not anything that might have happened. Okay, you don't have to tell me. I would not pry into whatever. Oh, but apparently, where is this? Why can't I read the title? A Las Vegas woman. Why, stupid ad? Get out of my way.
I know, right?
A Las Vegas woman who pushed an elderly man off a bus, leading to his death, gets a prison sentence.
Good for her.
Okay, so a Las Vegas woman who admitted to pushing an elderly man off a public transit bus in 2019 was sentenced to prison Friday as part of a plea bargain. Oh, this is part of a plea bargain. Interesting.
Yeah.
Miss Bishop, I'm just gonna say that, who was 25 at the time, she's pretty young, received a sentence of 8 to 20 years, whoa, for abuse of an elderly person resulting in death. On March
Wow. 21st.
2019, Bishop was captured on bus surveillance videos arguing with
Okay.
the individual. I'm just gonna say the individual, 74. When the vehicle stopped and the elderly gentleman turned his back to the exit the bus, Bishop was seen pushing him, causing him to fall on the sidewalk below. What? That's horrible.
Why would you do that? I don't
He was
understand. Just
he was-
because you're arguing with somebody doesn't mean you have to push somebody.
Were they arguing? Did it say they were arguing?
You said arguing. You just said it. Video surveillance, video arguing.
Oh, okay. I literally read it and it escaped me.
Are you out of your mind?
Oh wait.
Are you out of your mind?
The elderly man was hospitalized later that day and died more than a month later.
Hospitalized.
Was he not hospitalized?
Didn't
They
say
said
that.
hospital. They said hospitalized.
Okay, well, it didn't sound like that from the way you were talking away from the mic, probably.
Oh, maybe. Give me a second. It was hospitalized later that day and died more than a month later of complications from blunt force trauma to the torso. According to Clark County officials, though, they then ruled his death as homicide. At the sentence, Bishop was given credit for 252 days of time served. That's about it. Okay. Yeah.
Why? I just don't understand that. It's like pushing your grandpa down off a bus. Would you push your grandpa off the bus?
It's not about pushing your grandpa. Maybe this elderly
It doesn't matter,
gentleman
but you have
was.
to think of it like that. That's my elder, like that's just an older person. Fragility of life, the beginning and the end, so fragile.
That's just being an asshole. If you're being an asshole.
She was being an asshole, but I don't understand. Like, why? I just think about it. Like, if it was, I don't have my grandparents whatsoever, everybody. So if someone you pushing your grandfather, is that like, that's how I imagine it. Like, I'm arguing with this person. I don't care I don't know who they are, but I'm gonna fucking push them anyways. Okay, well, what's the likelihood of your consequences? You're going to fucking jail. Like pushing down
depending on what the argument was, what if he like touched her?
Really?
So like if an elderly man touched you while you were in the bus about to exit, and you just wanted
Like
him off
how?
you, I mean,
How? Like how? What is he touching her? How he's obviously if he's facing like he's going down the stairs.
we can see the video if you want.
Oh, what's the video? Where's the video?
Give me a second.
What
That's
the
an
fuck
different
is it?
article. Give me a second. Give me copy and paste. Yeah, I have no idea. We don't know the full circumstances of the situation.
Yeah, but again.
Are you? There it is.
Yeah, he's going straight down. Look at that. Is not. Look at
One,
that.
the following video contains images that some viewers may find upsetting.
Is it?
Okay, there he is. There he is. I think that's him.
There's
For
more
anyone
in.
listening, okay, so for anyone listening, okay, this just this Elderman. Oh shit!
See?
Oh.
Does
Shit!
that look
yeah.
like he was touching her?
No. Like I said, if the situation, it can be situational. This situation,
Fuck.
then she just ends up arguing with the bus driver. Did no one help with the gentleman? Actually?
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Well, it's only a quick clip, but somebody might have helped him after the fact.
Yeah.
Look, there was another elderly lady. She was like, fuck that. I don't want to choose life. Jesus. Just fucking pushing. He's like, like, excuse me, and then like trying to get his little card out, and she just pushes him. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. If he was on blood thinners, he was honestly already dead at this point. Oh man.
There you go.
That just like, fuck.
So this is what we saw. So because we're an audio podcast, Liz, remember?
I'm sorry. It's just I'm sorry. I can't get over the fact how she pushed him.
Okay, so the video we're watching is a gentleman just getting up his seat, like at the front of the seat. He's slowly making his way with his walker. As he's making his way out the bus, he's just kind of like slowly walking out, kind of like you would normally, just kind of your body forward. And it's like a playground kid just shoving you. It's not even a push, it's a shove, right? And he shoves her out the bus like you would your cousin who's being annoying, and just pushes him out. And boom, he just hits the ground.
8 feet away
brick.
from the entrance of the bus.
Yeah, a good chunk of feet. Like,
His head hit concrete, guys. Shit.
yeah, and he fell on his walker, right? I'm not watching.
No, it's
the
like a
video now.
basket. It's like one of those baskets you can open up.
Did he fall on top of it?
I fell on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's So he fell on. So not only did he fall on concrete, he fell on a metal item basically. So that lady should probably deserve more than 252 days or something, whatever.
That was only her time served so far.
Oh.
That's given her credit, just like
So
got
I
credit
have
for his
a,
time served too.
So let me see. I have a 20-sided dice. How long do you think she should deserve the penalty for?
I think she's gonna go for 20.
You want 20?
I think she's gonna go for 20.
All right.
Of course, the roll of the dice will say otherwise.
So the
I mean,
minimum was so if it rolls a 1, well, if it rolls a 1 or a 20, it's 20. We'll see. We'll see what our court of dice say for how long her penalty should be. But yeah, I believe she should deserve the maximum for that's just a horrible act in total.
And then the court record showed that she had been convicted twice in 2014 and 15 for misdemeanor domestic battery of charges.
Okay, the court of dice have dubbed her 14 years in jail. That's better than I thought the dice was gonna do. So yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
All right,
That's so sad.
Let's
This is
move on
so
to
sad.
some other stuff. So everyone's remember, if you cause any, if you end up serving any time, remember the court of dice will sentence you from now on. But yeah, here we're gonna.
Let me just roll this dice. Let's see how long I'm gonna be single.
Okay.
Break up that.
Should I show the 20-sided or the 100-sided dice?
Oh, there we go, 100. Let's try that one.
All right.
I'm doing myself, guys.
See here, the 100-sided dice. So that's these 2 dice. All right, you want to blow the dice? 66 years.
Oh, okay, good. Okay.
I thought it was 69. That would have been nice. But nope, 66. Those sixes are always hard to read on dice sometimes.
Do
6
that.
and 9s. All right, 66 years. All right, continuing on. Oh, that'd be fun. Doing a little fortune telling thing using just the dice.
How long is Jesus gonna be single? Your turn.
1.
Oh, you're gonna find your lover.
Done. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so let's get into some more interesting stories. We're gonna be listening to a video. Well, we'll be watching a video. Liz will be. You guys will be hearing it. Let us know if you guys have been enjoying us with these video stuff. It's been interesting. Let me just make sure the audio is right. Make sure.
It's only a 13-minute video. Good. It's not like the 2-hour
not
other
long.
one.
Oh yeah, no, that one was a lot more crazy, but that had a lot more serious stuff. You know, there's a little bit more fun stuff. I think that deserved that long video, that long discussion.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Compared to Stop Drinking Milk. We're gonna be watching if you guys want to have a listen to this, we'll leave the link in the description. But we're gonna be watching a video from Food Theory titled "Stop Drinking Milk."
No, really stop.
So let's just turn it down a little bit for the audio. And 3, 2, 1. Can you see it? Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Here at Food Theory HQ, we're always moving to where the truth is hidden. We are utterly unstoppable when it comes to exposing the truth of the food industry.
Bruh.
We're no cowards.
Emotional damage!
Just skim the surface. Since when is everyone so lactose intolerant around here?
Are you out of your
Since
mind?
forever, because we all are.
Okay, so
I can't eat or drink a lot of milk products anyway, so
Oh yeah, and this video is actually pretty interesting. It kind of does a little history.
Welcome to Food Theory,
Alright,
the show
so-
that does a body good, unlike milk, or so I plan to convince you of today. That's right, welcome to part 4, 7, 25, who knows, there's been so many at this point, of our ongoing series entitled The Food That You Think Is Good For You Actually Isn't, and You Only Believe That It Is due to a combination of propaganda and fear-mongering. It's still a working title. But today's episode is tackling what is probably, for most of us watching in North America and Europe, the most basic of healthy eating advice that we receive as kids. Drink your milk.
So yeah, you were told to always drink your glass of milk or have a glass of milk every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does the body good. Get those milk sashes on.
I
I
think it was last episode that we started talking about propaganda and how that affects us, right? So that's about right. So let's see what else this video has to say.
Does a body good. Drink your milk, it builds better bones. There are members of my family who are literally forced to drink an 8-ounce glass of milk for every single meal. And why not, right? It makes your bones strong, it helps you grow tall, and of course, it's gonna help get you the ladies.
I'd like to meet you, but I'll bet you're hoping for a hunk.
I'm drinking milk, though.
Milk's about the best thing I can drink right now to help me build strong arms,
powerful legs, and a broad chest. And when all my work is done, will you love me just for my body?
Oh boy. Ooh, this is not.
That was an actual commercial.
Pretty swimsuit lady. Let me heckle you from various generations of my life. Is this honestly what they taught kids back in the 80s? Will you love me for my milk bod? Because all I've got right now is sensitivity, intelligence, and charm. Please, someone, Drew Gooden, Denny Gonzalez, please, someone, look into these commercials. Oh, they are a big oof. Now, admittedly, this isn't the first weird commercial that we've had on the show, though I gotta say the adolescent fantasies and objectification have been cranked up to 11 here, so it's got that going for it. But what's most unexpected about this thing is that it's coming from an organization that sounds reputable. America's Dairy Farmers, the National Dairy Board. But note here that there are no actual statistics that are mentioned. No references to medical terms beyond the vague words of vitamins, calcium, and bones.
That's literally what I think about when I think milk.
Yeah, basically.
Same with all these other star-studded celebrity commercials. Or you got this one which uses scare tactics to convince us that without milk we're gonna be losing our arms. Sure, a lot of these are meant to be funny, obviously, but they're also meant to be taken seriously, right? Milk is important for you to drink. It's gonna help you grow bigger and stronger, because who would just run ads to promote the general concept of milk? This has gotta be some sort of public health announcement coming from the dairy board, right? Well, all of it is actually propaganda. In the case of our sensitive, intelligent, and charming hunk-to-be, that was actually a commercial created by a consortium of primarily California-based milk producers, as well as the marketing firm McCann Erickson San Francisco. Super progressive of you, California. This wasn't just one company, it was like all the milk producers in California getting together to do a broader advertising campaign. Something that, wouldn't you know, various groups across the US food world have been doing for decades. Remember, beef. It's what's for dinner. Dun dun dun. Actually,
remember that one? I remember that one.
Yeah. Me too.
I barely remember that one.
We had some crazy commercials during the 90s, I'm not gonna lie.
The 90s had some, like, those tubular, extreme, epic commercials. Like,
exactly. We don't get those today.
Yeah, they didn't age well, but they're still fun to watch. So, yeah. So let's...
The Beef Industry Council of America, whatever that is, made a big deal about how exciting and easy it was to cook beef. Pork, the other white meat. Yep, that one's coming straight from the mouths of the pork producers of America. These sorts of campaigns are so misleading because we think of advertisements coming from single companies wanting to sell you their particular version of a product. But in the case of major food producers, they're all working together to just sell you the idea of an individual food product. Would each milk company prefer that you drink their brand of milk? Absolutely. But what they all have in common is that they at least want you to drink some milk. So they all band together to produce stuff like this.
Milk's got calcium, don't you know?
Oh god.
It makes you smile.
It's so good, it drives you wild.
Milk, it does the body good.
But at least
it does the body good.
Yes, I do remember that line too.
I think it's been ingrained into American society at this point now. If we can hear it to this day, And that slogan has caught on.
In the case of milk, all this hype is warranted, right? Like, it's full of calcium, it builds stronger bones. Isn't it a superfood?
My mom
The
actually
answer
still
is,
believes this for my daughter, and I'm like, I haven't really been forcing my kid to drink milk. I'm like, she should take vitamins to supplement for what she lacks in her diet.
Exactly.
Entirely, but no, I have never pushed milk on my daughter. Like, I don't think it's a good idea. I think I've outgrown the idea of milk.
I think,
I became milk intolerant.
I think generationally, it's just like different sciences, more stuff have come out, and more stuff.
As you can probably guess since you're watching on this channel, no. Historically, milk is a super powerful tool that humankind has used, from cavemen to colonizers, in order to stay alive and also promote their own agendas. Yep, that milk. But as a result, it's been one of the hardest food trends to get rid of, and it's literally one of the hardest food trends to digest. So let's start at the beginning, shall we?
Okay, this is where we're gonna get into some of the serious stuff about the why should we stop drinking milk? Like, I enjoy having a glass of milk here and there. I know the lactose intolerant, like yourself and my sister, who my sister will suffer to have a bowl of ice cream or milk. But
cheesecake. I remember cheesecake was one of the other ones too.
But yeah. So let's get into it. Let's see. I'm gonna back it up a little bit.
And it's literally one of the hardest food trends to digest. So let's start at the beginning, shall we? We all know that milk comes from cows, and eventually we all realize that there's not that much difference between milk we chug from a carton and the milk that we drank as infants, as uncomfortable as that is. Both are designed as a primary food source for baby animals. And yes, there are lots of different kinds of milk out there, like almond milk, pea milk, oat milk, yoo-hoo, but we're just talking about the oat.
They said pea milk.
What's true? It exists.
I don't know. I don't know about yoo-hoo. Whatever. Okay. It's like it sits unrefrigerated. It just, I don't know. Continue.
Out there, like almond milk, pea milk, oat milk, yoo-hoo, but we're just talking about the OG, straight from the source.
The source.
It doesn't take a genius to figure out that
Tickle those nipples.
They're not fully cooked yet. And a mother's milk, with its complex mixture of nutrients, vitamins, proteins, beneficial bacteria, antibodies, and lymphocytes, act as a literal power shake for babies. But is it still the best thing when we get older?
What is this?
It's mother's milk.
It's mother's milk.
Evolution would disagree with you there, Mad Max. See, one of the main components of milk from all mammals is a disaccharide sugar called lactose, the chemical composition of which is actually very difficult to break down in the adult mammalian digestive system. It needs a hit from an extra enzyme called lactase to get the job done thoroughly. And special pro tip here, if you see A's at the end of a protein name, it means that it's the protein's job to slice up another protein so it can be used in your body.
We need to start having we have to have like a little announcement, science time or something, just so people know that we're about to get sciencey in here. For people who don't care.
Bill Nye the Science Guy, come and watch with us.
Something like that, yeah. Or if I can find that clip, that's like, all right, guys, we have to get in. We're about to get in science into this shit, not the craziness, some real truth. All right, let's continue.
Protein name, it means that it's the protein's job to slice up another protein so it can be used in your body. Lactase slices up lactose. And here we all thought that science was hard. Anyway, without lactase in our system, lactose becomes uncomfortable to process. And that's when we get ourselves the old tummy trouble. The potty party, if you know what I mean. And the thing is, by the time people hit 20, our bodies are designed to no longer produce enough lactase to break down milk. Meaning that evolutionarily, all adults are supposed to be lactose intolerant. So
did you know that?
No, but I drew away from milk after I got into my teenage years. I mean, occasionally I would have a bowl of cereal or something like that, but
like around that time, right? So they use 20 as a general thing, so about around 20. So let's continue. But did you?
Bruh.
I did not. I didn't think about that. That's crazy. All right, continue.
Evolutionarily, all adults are supposed to be lactose intolerant. So what's the deal then? Why am I still able to eat a 20 scoop for Monster every year for my birthday with limited health
problems? I want ice cream now, actually. I think I might have
the enormous weight gain that comes with it. Well, it all boils down to one word: evolution. We all know that evolution...
Okay, wait. 1 second. Stupid ad. So while this ad's playing, what are your thoughts so far? About the propaganda, about the about.
Oh yeah, well, I think we really discussed that as it seems like to be our theme lately. Yeah, I see it. I totally can understand it. Like propaganda is so ingrained into our minds. It's interesting, nonetheless.
All right, let's continue on then. Ads.
With it. Well, it all boils down to one word: evolution. We all know that evolution happens via natural selection through random genetic mutation over the course of thousands and millions of years. Us human beings have been able to survive in some of the most varied habitats on Earth because of our genetic variety. Live in a really sunny location? You probably evolved to produce more protective melanin. Need to be able to maybe eat literally anything? Don't worry, our teeth are all kinds of different shapes, so we can basically be walking garbage disposals. Nothing around to eat or drink except for the milk from your family cow? We've got a mutation for that. Turns out that shortly after humans began domesticating animals for farming and agriculture, they found that in times of famine, starvation, and when the HelloFresh box got swiped off
there's the other
porch,
brand.
they
That's
could
what I was
turn to
thinking of.
old Bessie in the front yard to literally help them survive. Sure, the milk that was being excreted from her udders might not have originally been top of the menu, but it was certainly better to have a stomach ache than a stomach dead. You know, like actually starving to death. And it turns out that a very small percentage of the population in areas where this was happening most frequently, namely Central and Northern Europe, had a little mutation that helped him out with this very circumstance.
That's interesting to know. That makes sense. Well,
yeah, it does.
Yeah,
So-
it's all situational. Like if during certain times of like near famine and stuff, is that if you would have to either keep your cow alive, you either have the dairy product out of it, then your milk. Like just save the cow before you kill it for its meat. It's like the chicken and the egg thing. Like just keep your chicken
first.
no, actually, keep your chicken alive to have its eggs compared to killing your chicken for the chicken meat.
That's a one-time meal, basically.
Yeah, basically, yeah. So, and then one of those things is like over time, people do develop certain traits, like he said, to help individuals basically endure or break down certain chemicals. So, yeah, continue.
This mutation is called lactase persistence, where instead of losing lactase when you grow up, you retain it, along with the ability to break down lactose. As such, the lactase persistent people are better able to survive food shortages with the help of old Daisy and Dolores out in the barn. They're also, in general...
That got you.
The cow, Daisy. Okay, we all know about Daisy the cow, but Dolores? Really?
Oh,
Where did she go from?
The forgotten dairy cow.
Bruh.
General, less farty. Those two things, being alive and less stinky, make them more likely to mate and procreate. Over the last 5,000 or 6,000 years, a mere blink of an eye in terms of evolution, a decent portion of the world's population have now become mutants. Lactase mutants, not like telekinesis mutants or anything cool like that.
We want the cool
people
stuff.
Developed lots of derivatives of milk, like cheese, yogurt, and butter. So if you didn't do so hot with milk, maybe you could handle some of those. And thus, the dairy obsession was born out of a desire to not starve to death. This is all totally logical, but it begs the question, does this 5,000-year-old food trend really need to still exist? I mean, Jell-O molds were out by the 1930s, and honestly, they were a lot more fun. Sure, staple food...
Kind of want gel molds again, actually. Not gonna lie.
We have a bunch of old ones, I believe. I think so.
Like, I got into Jell-O again this holiday season. I don't know if I mentioned it on a podcast, but I was making, like, Jell-O cups and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I did see pictures of it. I don't think you ever talked about it on the podcast.
Oh yeah, so I got into really that, but I you don't see these intricate like Jell-O castles or like shapes and stuff like that anymore. But I don't really look for Jell-O molds to begin with. Well, yeah, let's continue.
Products like milk were important in times and places where food is a limited resource, but is milk that nutritionally great for us that we need to keep drinking it when our bodies may or may not even be able to process it in the first place? Is the hype around milk actually warranted, or is milk actually bad for you? The answer is nuanced. If you saw our Chicken McNuggets episode, you know that even the supposedly
That's another video if you want to go
that we
see
get is
this
often
one.
manufactured through corporations, or is just as often filtered through our own governments in order to benefit certain industries. So then where do all the things that we've heard about milk fall?
Have you noticed all of these milk advertisements?
Are using familiar faces, actors, sports people, musicians. Yeah, I remember all
turns out
that.
that milk does have a few clear-cut benefits. For one, milk has been clinically shown to make children grow taller. Not kidding. It's estimated that if you add an additional serving of milk to a child's diet every single day, they may add a full centimeter to their final adult height. And it makes some sense.
A full centimeter? Is that a lot? Never mind.
You're
I'm
looking
like,
at a centimeter. I'm like,
and this is like, don't give Ursula milk so she doesn't become taller than you.
she's already taller. She's like, what about my shoulder? Like already? So I'm already
never
screwed
mind.
on that. Genetics got me.
You should have drank more milk.
Diet every single day.
Did my dad forced me?
Oh, maybe.
Look, I'm still short. I got Grandma
add a full
Dugan's
centimeter
genetics.
to their final adult height. And it makes some sense, since milk is designed to make baby cows bigger as fast as possible. Since in the wild, they need to be big and tall if they don't want to get eaten by lions or wolves or literally any other predator out there. So yeah, milk can make you bigger if you drink it as a kid, and also very consistently over the years. But it's when we start getting a little older that things get dubious. For instance, research from JAMA Pediatrics tracked teenagers who had consumed large amounts of milk in their childhood. They showed that their risk of getting a bone fracture was not only the same as non-milk drinkers, but actually higher, especially when you were talking about taller boys. This is one of several studies that show that if you're taller, your bones are larger, which means that you have more body mass to support, and this leads to an increased risk of fractures and breaks, including those really dangerous hip fractures in elderly people. So the milk did make you taller, but also led to more brittle bones later in life that actually break easier. Interestingly enough, what science I was able to find shows that yogurt doesn't have a pronounced...
That's up to you. Does she want to be tall now, tall in her youth, so she can just have brittle bones in her elderly years? That can be a question for her. Like, do you want to be tall, Ursula, now during your high school years, or do you want brittle bones when you're in your late 60s and 70s plus?
It was funny. We had somebody who broke her hip. Didn't know she broke her hip until after they came into the ED.
Did they drink milk?
They X-rayed her. Oh, I don't know. I asked that question. No one have to. Did you drink milk as a kid? As frequently as a kid?
Now that should be the question from now on.
No, I'm good.
Easier. Interestingly enough, what science I was able to find shows that yogurt doesn't have a pronounced effect on height. In fact, it may slightly decrease risk of fracture, but the
I can have my
yogurt
yogurts
on that one. Maybe we can call it breaking even.
Yogurt this morning.
On top of that, we know where milk comes from. Lactating cows, who have naturally occurring hormones in their bodies, just like a person who's recently had a baby. Not their fault, it's just the way it is. But in many countries, additional hormones or steroids are added to cows to make them produce more milk. On top of the lactose that adults aren't supposed to be consuming, a high milk intake can actually alter some of the hormone balances in our own bodies. Wouldn't you know, the results on this one are pretty mixed. Consumption of milk as a child and adolescent may increase your risk of prostate cancer later in life, but drinking milk and eating cheese may decrease your risk of colon cancer. Milk appears to be a pretty mixed bag. Whole milk might increase your cholesterol, skim milk might lower your blood pressure. This list actually goes on and on and on, and it's difficult to suss out where the science ends and where the bias begins. I mean, you have everything from one side of the spectrum where PETA has their 7 reasons you should never eat dairy,
love
to
PETA.
the complete other side of the spectrum with the dairy farmers of Wisconsin, who make tens of billions of dollars a year on dairy, tirelessly promoting its benefits to the world. The truth is, obviously, somewhere in the middle of those two extremes. The big question here,
The gray
is milk
area.
worse than other sources of calcium and nutrients that you could get out there? No, not really. Is it better? Nope, not that either. If the primary reason you're drinking milk is to get calcium and vitamin D so you can grow bigger and stronger and impress all the swimsuit models with your body rather than your sensitivity, consider ways to get the same or better nutrition with less controversy
bad.
and less money. Green vegetables like broccoli and kale, more calcium than milk. If you hate green things, just try eating some beans. You know, those fun little round guys that come in burritos and chili? More calcium than milk.
My family have been getting calcium without even knowing it. I'm not gonna lie. That's literally a staple on every meal.
Beans.
Beans, rice, and meat. And
Exactly.
Yep, I was surprised too. Tofu.
did you know that? You did
Yes,
know?
I did. I actually did know about tofu.
Oh, I know about the beans.
No, but I knew there was you get a good fiber too from them. So I think
Yeah,
with my brain on
I
fiber.
knew about the fiber in beans. That one I knew, but I didn't know you get a good amount of calcium out of them. More reasons now to actually eat my beans.
Also a primary source of protein
Chew
and
on,
calcium in
please.
places in the world where lactose intolerance is high.
Thumbs
and it's
up. I'm
both
giving my
cheaper
thumbs up.
and
You can't see this. I forget we're not
you
on
know
a
what else
video
has the nutrients
podcast.
of milk in a pinch? A good calcium
Yeah.
supplement
Maybe one day.
and a vitamin
Not
D
right now.
drop from the grocery store or pharmacy. Luckily, we live in a day and age where those options are available to
This is exactly what we're talking about. Like, there's alternate forms of getting
We're
these
talking
vitamins.
about supplements.
Supplements, yeah.
We were just been talking about supplements earlier this episode, and in the last episode we were talking about supplements.
Yeah, there are alternative ways to get these certain just things that we need that we aren't able to get it every day. Like I can't drink like your what was the old pyramid, because the pyramid that we grew up with is no longer a staple.
I know, right?
But it was like
You got your vegetables at the bottom. You got your meats at this thing, and then cheeses, and then I think at the top was the sweets or the candy.
yeah.
To the
Right.
corner, because you only want a tad bit of it. You don't want a whole lot of it. So
All right, let's continue.
us. It is not that hard, friends. So to wrap up this trilogy, tetralogy, whatever it is, our series of episodes about the conspiracies lurking around every corner of the grocery store, the food is different, but the conclusion largely remains the same each time. Read a nutrition label instead of an advertisement. Don't force yourself to eat or drink something because you saw a commercial for it on TV, and for Pete's sake, if a chicken commercial is produced by the Poultry Association or a lettuce commercial shows up from the Cruciferous Educational Council, consider that they might not be the most unbiased source of information. Every food ad you see is designed to make you believe that you're going to be taller, smarter,
let's make me hungry.
stronger, and more beautiful if you eat that food.
Just ate
Lo and
too.
behold, doing a little research into a more trusted
Well, I had a
source
quick
of
breakfast.
information will actually
We always
make you
record these in the
smarter,
morning,
which
people.
in turn will make you more beautiful.
So yeah, it's all advertisement basically. The ads are there to make you buy a product, have it, and have its reasons for it. And it's one of those things where we get to the point where let me just close this off. Okay. So yeah, we get to that point where does the value of what we buy and when we buy it go? So what were your thoughts? What are your thoughts now coming out of that little spiel?
like I said, I haven't really been drinking milk, but I haven't really forced my kid either. And maybe it is that, that knowledge of maybe, and I just didn't know that it's, that we don't need to have this product in our diets constantly. I mean, granted, it's probably a good thing for her to have right now, considering she's not getting what she needs, and I'm trying hard with her supplements, but she fights me on that too.
Hey, come on, kids, weren't you a picky kid when you were growing up? You
No,
couldn't
we
eat- you
weren't
didn't want-
forced to be picky kids. We were supposed to eat
Oh.
everything, and most everything we ate. Except for, I still have a valued hatred against cottage cheese. Thanks to my dad.
cheese. Interesting. Wait, did he not like cottage cheese, or
No, he made us eat it. We're
Oh.
forced to eat it, and sometimes he would mix it with peaches, applesauce at dinner time. That's.
I don't know about the applesauce. The peaches doesn't sound that bad, but
No, I just didn't care for it. It's just texture. It always got to me. I think the only time
okay.
I've ever learned to like cottage cheese is when it's made into Ramona and the curds are broken down to like a cream. And I've actually had to make it when I made ricotta back in Mexico because I couldn't find it. So I had to make it with cottage cheese.
yeah, to settle. Interesting. So yeah, the 90s had for sure some very interesting advertisements
Commercials.
for sure, and it was pushing
Early
a lot.
2000s kind of too.
So yeah, I don't know, it's bonkers sometimes to really think about it.
Mm.
But yeah, that's kind of where we're at there. Any final thoughts or things? Are you gonna let, because having a glass of milk here and there, it doesn't sound like it's saying no, don't drink milk, but just
Just don't
having it.
produce the enzyme to break it down. So
don't
we deal with the
don't
pain.
so don't yeah, if you're gonna have it, deal with it. But
Well, there
don't drink
are,
it.
there
There
are
are
those,
lactose.
there are lactose intolerant pills people can take, but
Yeah.
again,
But do it at your own warning. If your kid wants to grow tall, apparently give them milk. But be careful because they'll have brittle bones apparently.
yeah.
And then but yeah, just have it in. It feels like it's more of a have it in. What's the term? Have
Reasonable
it like,
quantities, not like
yeah.
crazy quantities. You can have
You
4
don't need to drink.
ounces
Like you don't need to drink a full glass of milk every day.
every
I
meal.
don't, yeah,
Said
I don't
every
think
meal.
that.
I'm like, what? I didn't have it every meal. Well, no, take that back. I had it. If I didn't have it in my cereal in the morning, I had it, at lunch because that's what you were given at
The school gave you.
School lunches are still getting everybody milk. So
Yeah, like they should just give them water. Just bottled water. Like outside, you like really need.
mhm.
But
With
like we said,
digestion.
the propaganda, Like,
I know,
oh yeah,
right?
every
Remember?
school.
Remember? Do you remember that book? Oh, the missing kid on like milk cartons.
Yes, the missing kid milk carton stuff. Yeah.
Remember, it used to be like that. Used to be very common in the 80s and early 90s, maybe. They stopped, weaning away from that, and then as it got older, I feel like from the cartons, we went to the plastic jugs.
Yeah, we have plastic jokes. So I don't see missing kids. All the missing kids stuff is usually like plied on a wall in the grocery stores and stuff like that.
Yeah, and social
Not
media
a single
now.
fuck was given this day.
Social media nowadays too. It's like
Oh
everywhere.
yeah, that's helped a lot. But yeah, any final thoughts on the dairy products?
I would continue to avoid dairy as usual. I haven't had a lot of dairy.
I want some ice cream, and I'm glad I can still have some yogurt every once in a while. But I'm glad to know that my lack of dairy drinking has helped me a little bit. But yeah, all right, that kind of ends our discussion on the dairy products. So if you guys want to watch that video, it's on Food Theory on YouTube. It'll be a link in the description if you guys want to watch it or share it around. But yeah, those are our thoughts. So we're gonna get towards the end of it. So we're gonna be doing. Actually, no, you said you had an "Am I the Asshole" story already prerequisite, right?
Yes.
All right, send that link and then
it's in there. It's in there.
Okay, give me a second. Since we already have one already prepped and ready, instead of rolling the dice this week, where is it?
15. It's right above your Las Vegas elderly woman.
Oh, that's a lot of them.
15 of them. There's not that many.
We only have like 10 minutes.
And now we only have 10 minutes, but roll the dice, remember?
Oh, wait, I need to roll there's 20 of them, so I gotta roll Are we only doing the top 3 or the top 6?
Whichever.
Okay, so I have a 6-sided dice, so we'll do that. Number 6. So the 6th most controversial one on here.
Okay, I'm scrolling down to it. Right. This is gonna be fun.
Okay, go for it.
Number 6, making their girlfriend's friends fam pay to use their boat. So pretty much as the title says, I, 28 male, have been dating a Taylor, 26 female, for 3 years. When we first started dating, I was started in my own business. I work in the construction field. Taylor's friends constantly told her that she needed a guy who had a real job. Fuck, we all need construction workers. Her family didn't like that I did what I did because at the time I wasn't making tons of money. I won't go into all the details, but Taylor's friends and family were definitely not supportive of me or my business when we started dating. Well, COVID happened and my company actually blew up. Lots of people doing home updates. And because of this, I've been blessed with enough extra money to finally have some fun after sacrificing for 3 years. So I decided to buy a boat. We live in a warm weathered state, so I thought, why not? It's been a blast. My friends and family love it. I take it out almost every weekend when I can. Taylor loves it too, of course. But recently, she's been asking about bringing her friends. I originally told her straight up no, and she accepted that at first. But she kept pestering. Last week, she said if I could have take the boat out for her dad's, my biggest hater the whole time I started my business, birthday. I said that she could rent it. I told Taylor I would take her out, her family and friends out on the boat, but they can pay a rental fee. And since none of them have the license to drive it, I'll be the driver and they can pay me for that time. She got all upset saying how unfair she was when I didn't make my friends and family pay. To which I pointed out, those are the people who supported me. So the people who supported me get free stuff, and those who didn't, don't. She calls me an asshole for this. Am I the asshole?
That's a good one. That is actually a pretty good one, because you could see why someone would say that, but there are individuals who will say, why the hell are you doing anything? Why anything like work, projects? And I know a few people say, why do we do this show? Like, and they don't care to support it. Like, it's for us. This is a fun little project we do every other
It's my
weekend.
hobby.
Yeah, like there's our chance to read some funny stories or get together and make some shitty stuff. For the most part, no one has to listen to this, but please listen and share this.
Yes, please.
But it's our time to just rant, share some funny stuff, some weird stuff, or get together and do some funny weird videos. And that's basically what I've always done. People have told me, like, why don't you be more proactive? Because a lot of the things that people want proactive to make more money or anything. Like for this, like for him, the job stuff. They're like individuals like who see like average Joe jobs. Let's go with that. I think that's the best way to say it. Average Joe jobs, right? Your bus boys, your grocery workers, your construction workers. These like what people see as low end jobs are kind of your everyday jobs that people need. If you didn't have these individuals, you wouldn't have anything. So they might not be top of the brackets of your doctors and lawyers, but like you still need your average Joe people, and you just got to support them as individuals. And just this statement alone of it seems like a bit of a snarky comment, right? But 3 years is a lot. Like after a little bit of time, oh, you're doing good. We're sorry. It didn't seem like there was any other communication on that. So what are your thoughts?
I think he's right. I mean, nobody's able to license, so he's taking his time out of his day to go take out the family that didn't support him. I mean, I'm so surprised he's still with the girl. I mean, you kind of want families to be supportive of both sides of the thing. So, like, I bet, one, his family has been supportive of Taylor, whatever she does for a living, and supporting of him, but it seems like her family is supporting her and like whatever she's doing in her endeavors. And when it came to him, it's like, no, it's a bad job. He's not gonna make it. This is not a real job. And I think that in a way that he has it right. I mean, he spent all his time and energy into something to making it productive, and thank God for COVID for making it happen. Yeah. Getting his business off the thing. Yes,
Yeah.
and it's sad. It was a pandemic to get it to that point.
It was a situational thing. Like, you made the best of the situation. That's the best way to put it. Let's do it that way. You made the best of the situation.
Yeah, and I just feel like, I think he's right. He's not the asshole. He's
not. He's being snarky, but not the asshole.
Yeah.
But here, the thing is, like what you mentioned earlier, like families don't have to get along with each other. I know a couple of relationships where one family just not part of the family. Like for our families, like at least my family, for the most part, they usually blend well. But we, for the most part, there's very few people that marry. What's the best way to put it?
Outside.
Outside, and not kind. That's now it's sounding like more like
Well,
southern.
I'm just saying. Well, yeah, but I mean, just saying it's
Um,
true though. I mean, there's like a comfort circle. You got this
I,
family. You got
I
a
know.
comfort
Okay,
circle.
I know.
Okay.
Culturally outside.
Oh, yeah, culturally
Yeah,
outside. Yeah.
culturally outside. That's the best way I can put it. So for the most part, everyone knows some of the things. I do have a few family members who did marry, like culturally
Yeah.
out. So I have some like actually I have some Polish relatives, Irish relatives, and African American relatives who married in.
Nice.
And it's one of those things is I don't know, sometimes you get like you've been to our family gatherings. We have a very rambunctious traditions. There's parties, there's gatherings.